Today I'm going to talk with you about one of your primary duties as a mother, and that is meal preparation. Most mothers, modern mothers, have just given up. They're ripping home in the car with the kids and they stop by at some fast food place. Well, I want to teach you to become a mother with a pencil. Pencil power is preparation power, planning power. You know, Winnie the Pooh said, pencils and whatnot, overrated if you ask me. But how did he spend his life? He spent his life just looking for a pot of honey, looking for dinner. And I submit to you that life is more than looking for dinner just for yourself. You want to prepare for dinner. You want to meal plan well. And that begins with pencil on paper. There's actually 6 steps to preparing meals. One is to decide what to have. The second one is to write down your grocery list. The third one is to actually go shopping. The fourth one is to prepare your foods. The fifth one is to assemble that meal. The sixth is to wash the dishes. And the seventh is to store the excess food in the fridge. So no wonder you feel overwhelmed or you feel like you just can't get it together, because it actually has that many steps. So let's relax and think through those steps ahead of time. And if you'll write down and plan out for those steps, then when mealtime comes, all the mental work is done and it's just assembling that meal and getting it on the table. You will have a far better week if you plan than if you don't plan. That is the secret. That is the key right there, is pencil power over meal planning. Okay, so now let's go through each step. Deciding what to have. Well, you go through your recipe books or your favorite recipes and you find what recipes you want to have that week. Don't worry about which night you'll have them, and don't worry about posting your recipes. I don't like that, because if I decide not to have that meal that day and the whole family has read that I'm going to have that meal that day, they're disappointed in me. So I would rather hide my plans and be able to juggle those meals, put a different meal for this day than I had originally planned in case unforeseen things come up and the schedule is a little tighter. So what you want to do is collect those recipes. They might be on your 3x5 cards, and so you'll have several of those in here, or they may be a recipe that you found from a magazine. Actually take those recipes. Don't leave them in your recipe book. Don't leave them in the magazine, and don't leave them in your recipe card file. You take them and you collect them, the ones for that week. Even make a Xerox copy of the ones out of your recipe books if you want. And you gather them into one folder. And you put it someplace where you put your do list. And you keep that folder right with you. That's your place where your recipes are all collected. You see, this is not going to be by the shoot of the hip. This is going to be off the hip. This is going to be very well planned. And you'll find the more you plan, the faster you can get that meal on at the actual hour. Okay, the second thing is to write down your grocery list. Well, in addition to writing down your grocery list off your menus, off your recipes, arrange those things in order by which department they are in the store. So you'd put your frozen things on one part of your list, you'd put your fresh things on another, your dried staples on another, etc. So when you get to the store, you can go way more rapidly because you have the list organized by the section of the store. Instead of zigzagging back and forth and using up twice the time to go grocery shopping, you can just quickly go through those aisles and go through those sections of the store and have your stuff bought. Then when you bring the things home, what do? Well, that's a good time to prep your food before you put it in the fridge. Don't try to cook on the day that you shop and prep. Have something that you can just throw in the toaster oven or just add hot water on that day. Make your meal very simple for the day that you grocery shop and prep. Okay, so what do you do when you prep? Well, you'll take all your vegetables and you'll wash them, you'll clean them, and you'll cut them up and put them in little baggies or glass containers and stick them in the fridge. What a feeling of relief that is. The next days, when you go to the fridge and the prepping has already been done, you can just pull out those ingredients and then assemble them. So get your washing and prep done on that same day. This is the same principle we use for sewing. You wouldn't dream of cutting out your dress or your little child's outfit and sewing it on the same day. That will make you never want to sew again. So what you do is you cut the outfit out on one day, and then you put it up and do something different. And then you sew it on subsequent days. If you divide those two overwhelming tasks, you will have success and you'll function with more peace. Okay, so that's what you want to do on the grocery shopping day. You want to grocery shop and prep on that day. Okay, and then the next, so you've done steps 3 and 4 together. Then for your 5th step, you'll actually assemble the meal. And you can do that while you're talking to your children or your husband. And you can do that fairly relaxed because of your preparation. So you'll assemble that. And you need to schedule time to assemble it. One wise woman told me when I got married, on the day I got married, she said, do your dinner preparation in the morning. She said, assemble your food and get it done in the morning as your primary duty. And she said, then when dinner comes along at 5 o'clock and nobody has any energy, and I call 5 o'clock the arsenic hour, that's the poison hour. No one should have to cook then. So if you make your meal first thing in the morning, it goes very smoothly. You just tuck it in the oven then at that time of day when everyone is super hungry and they don't want to wait. So realize that you need to plan time in to assemble that meal, either first thing in the morning or that night. If you're going to eat at 6, then you need to plan to stop whatever else you're doing at 5 or 5:30 or even 4 if some people want to eat at 5 or 5:30. So you plan the time, you schedule the time in to assemble that meal rather than doing it by the seat of your pants. Okay, and then wash dishes. We have a whole YouTube on the optimum way to wash dishes. So go back and pick that YouTube up and watch it. It gives you some excellent tips for how to do that optimally. And then finally, you want to store your excess food in the fridge. And some families, you have to prepare lunches for the next day or for your spouse. And so that's what you do at the time when you're storing the food in the fridge. You don't just store it and then get it out again to put it in little containers to take as a lunch. Go ahead and put it in those containers right away after the meal so that it's ready to grab whoever has to run out the door the next day and needs refreshments on their long journey or needs lunch at work. So do you see, meal planning is far more than just doing it on the run. The more planning you can get done, the more relaxed woman you will become. And the happier your family will be because your meals will be infinitely better. Thank you for watching.